Well, folks, how was that for a first weekend of the World Snooker Championship? We have had it all, haven't we? World champion, gone. Surprise package of the season, Zhang Anda, gone. Mark Selby, gone. In fact, James's Snooker Nation, a fellow YouTube snooker creator, invited me onto his channel to give my prediction for the World Championship, and I said this. Now, I'm fully aware that Ronnie O'Sullivan and Judd Trump are the runaway favourites at this stage, but I'm going for Mark Selby. Look. I did predict that David Gilbert would beat Luke Brecel in a decider. So I'm breaking even, I think. And I love Joe O'Connor, so I'm not going to complain that much. Now for this video, I'm just going to go through the results that have already happened. We're not going to be touching on the ones that are still going. I just want to say a few lines about what we've seen. I've done a short on Hussein Vafaei's little rant about the Crucible. I'm not giving it any more airtime because you can actually talk about the Crucible and the value of staying there, the value of moving away until the cows come home. What he said about it was just nonsense, just trash, just not worth more than a minute video, honestly. Anyway. Let's have a look at these bad boy results. We'll start on Saturday night, just dead quick. David Gilbert 10, Luke Brecel 9. Not many saw that coming except the Oracle sat here. Look, Luca was mentioning illnesses and whatnot. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But first off, David Gilbert at 9-6, I was watching it with Isaac, who I did the predictions with, and I said, 9-6, this isn't over, mate. This isn't over. And we're both really rooting for Gilbert. We both like Gilbert. And it's not that we dislike Brecel. It's just something about him that we can't put our finger on that makes us unable to really get passionate about him, despite how exciting a player he is and how brilliant his run last year was. I don't know what it is, but we were really rooting for Gilbert, and there was genuine cheering when he put his frame ball in the decider. Like, well done, Gilbert. I think it's just because he's had so much go against him. He's had such a rough time of it over the last couple of years. Other than that Championship League win, really well done to Gilbert. I'm so happy he's through to the next round. And he's not the only one who I'm happy has got through. We'll move on to the next one. Jack Jones 10, Zhang Anda 4. That's even more of a surprise. I watched that whole game. It's one of the ones where I've actually managed to watch each and every session, and at no point did Zhang Anda lay a glove on Jack Jones. If Jack Jones the frames he dropped, it was more Jack Jones dropping the frame rather than Zhang Anda winning them. It was a grind fest. It was slow. The first session they were pulled off early. But is Jack Jones just a Crucible player? Possibly. I hope he is, because look, he doesn't really turn up at other events, does he? So he needs to be a Crucible player for the sake of his career. And I tell you what would you rather? Would you rather be a Crucible player or a rest of the season player, but you'd never make an impact at the Crucible? Let me know. Judd Trump 10, Hussein Vafaei 5. What I will touch on is that last session. Holy shit, was that easy for Judd. Judd probably played at 30% in that last session. As soon as the winning mark was in line, when he got to 8-9 frames, it was just Hussein's body language stunk, mate. That's what really smelled. That was what the smell was, Hussein. It was your body language, it was your attitude, it was your safety, it was your misses sometimes. The one that really stands out, and it stands out because the commentators made a big deal of it, was that left-handed shot. It was quite an easy red that he could have got the rest out for, but he went left-handed and he is proficient with his left hand, but it was just lazy, I thought, and so was his entire performance. So see you later, Hussein. I would have rooted for him to go further and further, brilliant for his country, brilliant for him, but his comments afterwards have just made me feel seen a bit, mate, not arsed about you, mate. I said, I'm getting dragged into the conversation, aren't I? But I said, I like a troublemaker. I don't like a shit stirrer. He's just a shit stirrer. Last year I thought he was a troublemaker, but now in hindsight, yeah, you're just a shit stirrer. And like I said, I can't remember where I said it. It reminded me of Machine Gun Kelly dissing Eminem when he went at Ronnie O'Sullivan. If I remember correctly, it was Hussein picking that fight. Anyway, Judd Trump did what he needed to do. He'll be looking at the fact that Selby's dropped out, players like Carter and Brecel have dropped out, and he'll be thinking, you know, there's still some big hitters, but this is opening up nicely early on. Long way to go, but 10-5, solid. Let's see what he can do. Moving on to the aforementioned Ali Carter, and more for me, the focus on Stephen Maguire. I keep saying it, I made a video about him, about how his fortunes have dipped, and since then, he's sort of been making a bit of noise, and here he is in the last 16 at the Crucible. His temperament and his game, not so much his temperament, his game is very suited to the Crucible, but then again, so is Ali Carter's. They had a semi-final once upon a time, can't quite remember what year, 2008, I want to say. And yeah, I think now that Maguire's starting to build up a head of steam, he could actually go quite deep in this tournament. I've said this before, I don't like looking at the draw, like who he's got next, where the flow of the seeding takes people, because you just get sort of bogged down in it. I want to take the matches for what they are. It was Maguire 10, it was Carter 7. That's what I want to focus on. I don't want to get distracted by what's coming next week. It's so far away, so much can change. Don't want to get bogged down in that. So I'll just say, well done, Maguire. Hope he can go deep. Is it a surprise? I did back him in my predictions. I backed him. I think Ali did have a few hot spots this season, but overall it has petered out a bit for him this season. But he'll be back. He's got other ranking event wins under his belt, I think, in the future, and I hope Maguire can work his way back to the top 16 in time. Tom Ford 10, Ricky Walden 6. Is it mean to say that this is probably the lowest quality match that we've seen so far? Low scoring. Ricky, once he fell behind, never seemed like he was going to get back into it. Tom can be happy with how sort of solid a win it was, how much he didn't need to sweat for it. He will need to play better. If he wants to progress further, he needs to play better. But it was his first win at the Crucible, so he will not care. It's just getting through, getting to that last 16 and seeing what happens from there. Huge congratulations to Tom, who I believe is from Leicester. That might be wrong. However, that is how I'm going to segue into today's big story. Joe O'Connor 10, Mark Selby 6. Joe's first match at the Crucible. He's up against his idol, his practice partner, his mate, and he does that on his first appearance at the Crucible. Yeah, unreal. And there's a man who went on BBC right afterwards and didn't talk shit about the Crucible. He just sort of had a joke about how he nearly got lost, how it suits him, how it reminds him of his practice setup. Because you know what? Players don't exactly practice in luxury. Not all of them, Hussein. Joe, he's a battler. He's still fairly young. He doesn't get a beautiful practice setup like everyone else. He's done his hard yards on shit tables and shit clubs. He's probably, his practice facility probably gets better and better with every year. And after this, I imagine it'll have a few renovations, a few improvements, maybe something on the wall to commemorate this moment. But I think Joe, of all the names in the tournament, other than Dominic Dale, Joe's the one where it would be tops off, running down the street, pouring beer on my head if he won. That would be amazing, even though Mark was my pick. And on Mark, he had a crack with Rob Walker. Afterwards, I'm laughing because I'm picturing that hug. Because Rob, I don't know if you saw this with Rob at the end of the interview. It's like, come here, proper good at it. It was nice. I shouldn't take the mick. I hope Mark's okay. I think he is. I think he's probably just got to a point in life where he has done it all, and it's, do you kill yourself basically for the next 10 years to try and break records and whatnot? You look at that Edge of Everything documentary, and Ronnie gets exhausted by this stuff, even though he pretends he doesn't care. And don't want to get dragged down in the Crucible crack again. But the difference between what Hussein said about the Crucible and what Ronnie said last week about Saudi Arabia is you can call out Ronnie on the bullshit because we've all seen Edge of Everything, so we all know how much the Crucible gets to him, how much it affects him, how much he respects it, and if he wins, he'll be there misty-eyed, so with his 8th in his hand, gushing about the Crucible. We all know he will be. He's a hypocrite. He knows he's a hypocrite. The thing with Vafaei is he has not got the experience to be saying shit like that. I'm calm. Joe O'Connor 10. Mark Selby 6. Sean Murphy 10. Lee Heishan 5. So, that I didn't get to see as much of this as I'd like. I think we all have this, don't we? You know, we have to go to work. We've got social commitments. And some games just fall down the crack in the sofa, unfortunately. So I will plead ignorance on this match. I didn't watch much of it. It's probably the result I expect, but nonetheless, it's impressive. I mean, Lee Heishan is 26th in the rankings. It's not like he's not a rookie by any means. He's a fully established player, and Murphy can be happy with the 10-5. I'm sure he's another one that's looking at the way it's all opening up and thinking, maybe there's a chance. So that's actually all the results we've got. There are games going on right now. I'll just click on live scores. Obviously, I'm on snooker.org. What a website. Yeah, my boy Gary Wilson is staging something of a comeback against Stuart Bingham. Crack on. Mark Williams, CJOE. 5-4 to Mark. I mean, that's a juicy one, isn't it? Pang is 2-0 up against Milkins. So early days in that one. Yeah, that's my thoughts. My feelings. I'm pretty hyped, as you can tell. It's how many times am I going to say this week? I am excited that it's going on. It's a bit rubbish that like I sort of watched every minute over the weekend, and then like Monday morning comes around, it's like back to work and I can't watch it. Tomorrow I'm at work, morning, afternoon, and then I've got a football match, so I'm not going to be able to see any snooker tomorrow, unless there's a late finish. Which I would love. So hopefully that happens, that comes to fruition. We're still ages away from knowing the full round 2 crack. Me and Isaac will be doing another video ahead of that. Thanks for watching. Yeah, please subscribe. Subscribe if you're well endowed. And see you soon, guys. I am going to go watch some snooker. Bye.